Is it recording?
Yeah, we're
yeah, it's
going.
been
We're
recording.
we've
We're
been
good.
going.
We're
We've been
going.
going. We're live.
We're live.
We're not actually
Five.
live.
Studio.
4, 3,
2, 1. Hey guys.
It's us, the White Guy Podcast.
The White Guy Podcast.
with a special guest.
Yeah, this is Joel.
Hello.
everybody.
Thank you for having me on as your guest.
As the
So
first
honored.
of
Of
many.
course.
The first of many.
The first honored
Yeah.
guest.
Thank you. Well, hi. I
How
am
does it
Joel.
feel?
It feels great. It feels amazing. I love the setup here.
Yeah,
This is
in
this is
our prof's
everything
office.
I ever imagined and more. So,
Good.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, from watching the podcast, right?
From
You've
viewing
seen-
all
Since you watched the podcast,
2
you've been
hours.
imagining what it's
How
going to
many
be like.
episodes are there?
there are 2.
Okay,
3
good.
after this one. So 2. Yeah, there are 2 live public episodes.
That's true. Have you watched them?
I watched part of the first one. Listen, I can tell you what they were about. The first
Ooh,
one is Velocipaster.
Right,
that's
right.
true.
The second one is VeggieTales. And why
That's
do I know
true.
that? Because I was there when you watched VeggieTales.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I was physically there, mentally
was.
elsewhere. It's on my phone.
That's true. That's also true.
It was a good film.
I was also
was.
on my phone,
Yeah.
but I was taking notes.
That's true.
I
I
took
was
some
on my
notes.
phone and I was not taking notes,
No,
but
he was
I
not.
remembered everything.
Yep.
As I
Pretty
usually
much,
do.
pretty much.
I started taking notes for that one actually, because
Oh,
I think I was originally gonna come on the podcast for that episode, but I think I was
But then you
busy
didn't.
last Monday.
Oh, that's
or
true.
Monday
That's
before,
true.
Whenever
That's
you guys
true.
recorded
2
it.
weeks ago.
2 weeks
yeah.
ago.
2
Wow.
weeks ago.
There's a third episode.
Yeah, there is a third episode. It's filmed.
It's
It
filmed.
goes up
Oh,
this
okay, so
Wednesday.
this is
Yeah.
the 4th.
Yeah,
This
this
is
will
the
be the
fourth,
fourth.
This is
Yeah.
number 4.
Number 4.
Right.
Episode the 4th.
Okay. Sweet.
The 4th be with
So today we're talking about our first marathon.
you. Yeah, we
Oh
did
my
a
God.
marathon on Saturday. We
We-
watched 6 films in a row.
In a
literally.
row.
It was
great.
It
We
was
watched
something.
What
Yes.
did we watch? Owen?
We watched all 6 Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movies. And I have to say Paul W.S. Anderson because there's like a ton of Resident Evil movies, but those are the specific ones we watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If-
yeah, go ahead.
If that still doesn't work, they're the ones with Alice.
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 Oh, do the other ones not? Or I guess they're
don't
more
have
focused on the game, right?
Yeah,
I
they
think the other
actually
ones have like
are
Leon in
Yeah.
it, but it's like Leon.
They're actually like canon.
Right.
Oh, those okay. So yeah, those ones
These
are
ones
canon,
are not canon to the
Those
game.
ones
right.
but it is a reference gold
Heavy.
mine heavy
Yes.
set of films.
Set of films.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
feel like it's kind of important to like preface that I have like zero knowledge of like the Resident Evil genre
Genre.
games,
Yeah.
but these two know like everything.
Okay.
Well, he knows
Yeah.
Almost.
everything.
Owen
He's
probably knows everything.
yeah, I know like a ton of the lore, but he's
Yeah.
played more of the games than I
Yes, I have played more of the games, like mostly the remakes, the newer ones, because,
Mhm.
and then we've recently been kind of marathoning the games almost.
have. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I sat through Owen playing the Resident Evil 4 remake,
which was awesome.
which was amazing. And then
and I played it on hardcore.
you played on hardcore and you did quite well. They can be difficult.
sometimes.
And then I finished 7. I played 7
hmm
and then you watched me play 7.
Yeah.
And right now we are co-playing, we are couch co-oping
Resident
5.
Evil
the
5
5th one. It's an older
with Chris
one.
and Sheva.
I played
Sheva.
3. I played the
Yeah,
third
so
one.
Garrett has played the 3 remake,
Yeah,
which
That's
I have
it.
played but not finished because
I've finished it.
Yeah. So I got to get
it's
on
pretty
that.
fun. It's
I
pretty
did
fun.
it. But Owen did the hard parts for me because I'm not very
There were
good.
only 2 parts I had to do.
I
He's
was like,
Yeah.
when you're you're a kid, you're like, Dad, can you beat this Mario level for me? And then your dad would just take your DS. And,
Doesn't like one try.
yeah. And
yeah,
you're just like, whoa.
Whoa.
That's the coolest man ever.
literally.
But yeah, so that is our knowledge with
yeah.
Mhm.
in terms of Resident Evil. And so we had the idea like a month ago, I think, to watch the movies. Because I think I was like, oh, and are there like Resident Evil movies? Because I know there's a show and on like
Yeah.
a Netflix original and it sucks.
terrible show.
Terrible. So I was like, oh, and are there
Really?
like Resident Evil movies? Because we were like playing Resident Evil. And
Mhm.
then you were like, yeah, there are like, there's like a 6, what is it? Like an anthology, a
Sextology,
quintology, a sextology.
probably.
Well, what's
yeah.
an anthology?
Anthology is 4.
Oh.
No,
Or
no.
What?
what?
An anthology is a series of independent stories connected by themes.
Oh, so it goes trilogy.
It has no number.
It's
So
just
wait,
not like a
After
dictionary.
trilogy, it's
Quadrilogy. And then
okay, I'm sorry. viewers.
quintology. And then
Quintology.
sextology. And then
So
septology.
septology.
Octology.
the Resident Evil sextology.
Nonology. And decology.
Wow.
I think.
All right. Well,
Oh my goodness.
so Owen was like, yes, alas, there is a sextology
Alas.
of
Sextology.
Resident
You
Evil
guys.
movies, films.
Films.
And we were like, well, let's marathon ourselves through them.
Let's marathon it up.
Yes.
So then we did.
So we did.
And
It was incredible.
yeah, it was
Honestly,
really fun.
I was expecting them to be like genuinely like bad, which I don't think they're great in terms of like, I mean, if you
Quality.
compare it to like, you know, commonly known, very
Like
well-made
Inception,
movies.
which
Yeah.
we're watching
Mhm.
next week.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's like they could be considered bad movies.
Mhm.
Some of the
Yeah.
plots and some of the
They're just
action
like
is
they're
weird.
just fun action movies.
But
That's
we
kind of-
had so much fun watching them.
yeah,
yeah,
they
I'm
were
not gonna
so
lie.
fun.
This
They were
was
so good.
this was one of the easier marathons that we've done so far. Me and
Yeah.
Owen have done 3, all of which will eventually be episodes for this podcast. I think maybe, or at least part of them will be episodes for this podcast. But
Shadowing.
this one was like one of the easiest. The last one we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
was so much harder than this one, and it was about the same length, if not shorter.
Codex.
Yeah. Ugh.
Because this was like, I think it's roughly 9 to 10 hours of film. a
Yeah,
movie.
most of them are no longer than 90
Yeah.
minutes.
So it's a lot. That's a lot of time spent sitting down watching like the same kind of, well, the same main character
Yeah.
Mhm.
go through very different events.
Yeah.
for the most part.
These movies are like
they're all unique.
barely connected.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
kind of crazy.
loosely connected. Like 4 and
Loosely
5.
connected.
Um,
They honestly they might as
The
well
walls
be
are making
walls are
sound.
making noises.
Sorry,
Wow, thought it was just me, but the walls are speaking to us.
that's odd.
They're chattering.
Shattering.
So they're kind of connected, I guess. It seems like every movie, the director was like, let's tackle a different genre.
genre.
But genre is in like pre-existing movies.
yeah,
type
let's
genre.
just do a movie that's already been made,
Yeah.
but with these characters.
Yeah, literally.
Like the second one is so Mad Max, right?
No,
is,
the
that,
third
yeah.
is that the third one?
No,
the
is it-
third
yeah,
one
they
is
also
Mad
together.
Max.
the second
third
one was
is
like
so Mad Max.
the second one was like a genuine zombie movie.
that one is like very much
Yeah.
like the third game, which was
Yeah,
Yes.
fun,
yeah,
because
yes.
Garrett could like
I
really-
could relate to
relate
that
to it.
Did
one.
you just call him
But-
Gareth?
Gareth? No.
No, it's a
I
different
would
person.
never. But the third or the second one is very The Walking Dead, like at least the earlier seasons. I don't know
yeah.
if you guys have
Mm.
seen that show.
No.
No,
But when they're
Walker.
in the big city and there's like people on rooftops and like
oh, it did the thing.
the lights are
Hold
off.
Oh,
They're
it's chill.
on.
Okay.
We don't move enough while we film this, so all the
there's
lights turn off.
I see.
It's a motion. It's a motion capture.
So every
Nope,
once in a
not
while we have
capture.
to.
We just gotta wave our arms a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so
Let's.
yeah, just as a, they're all supposed to be zombie movies.
Yeah, they're all supposed to be
Yeah.
zombie movies, and they follow the same character.
yeah. Her name's Alice.
Alice, played by the director's wife, which I promise is important.
Mila? Is it
Mia
Mila
Jovovich.
Jovovich?
I don't know how to say it.
Great actress. Actor.
Yeah, she's actually not bad.
Apparently you
Actor-
can't, actress is not a word.
Yeah, I keep hearing that actress is not a word, but whatever.
Actor.
Someone in the comments tell
Yeah.
us tell us
Tell
what's
us.
real.
Fact check us.
Tell us your truth.
She same actor, all 6 movies.
Yeah,
The
she's-
director's wife, which will be important. We will
That
talk
is
about
very
Yes.
important for specific key
Reasons.
moments.
that. Yeah.
So anyway, on that note, let's start the first movie.
So the
Yeah.
first movie opens up on the director's wife, right? And
Yeah.
she's naked,
Yeah.
On
laying
the bottom of a shower
unconscious in the shower.
with just the shower
the
curtain
shower curtain
to
like,
cover her bosom.
befallen upon her.
befallen.
Yeah. So there's
Yes.
no nudity yet.
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
At this point. Yet.
Yet.
Dun, dun. Just kidding.
So then she wakes up all confused. She like goes to her room and she puts on like a silk.
yeah, she puts on
Yeah.
like
What
a
is it?
silk
Like a
bathrobe. or
yeah, silk
gown.
bathrobe. She like she opens her drawers and there's like pretty normal stuff, and then she opens the third drawer and it's just like it's okay. Firstly, the drawer is carpeted, which is sinful.
Yeah.
But also-
Sinful.
It's just like covered in glass and it's just guns.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's like an MP5 with like a bunch of attachments.
Mhm.
And yeah, like Owen said, it's carpeted. which is like
Carpeted.
weird. It's not even some like fancy kind of like velvet, cashmere type padding for the gun. It's just
Cashmere.
like your mom's basement's carpet.
It's
Like,
grandmother's
It's
carpet.
grandmother's carpet. It's like
Mhm.
not even
Yeah.
shaggy. It's just like
It's just there.
The beginning
Yeah,
of this
like a
movie was a
Back
fever
room's
dream.
carpet.
The beginning of this movie was a fever dream. Like
yeah.
it's
So-
so
Yeah.
whack because
Then-
she wakes up, she puts on the thing,
Yeah.
and then
She's
she like
scared.
immediately gets taught because she's like lost her memory. She doesn't know
Yeah,
who she
doesn't
is.
know what's happening.
She's in a resident, like a mansion.
a
Yeah.
resident.
We don't know if it's evil yet.
No,
yeah,
we
we have
don't.
no clue.
And
Some
it's
random
really-
cop guy shows up, and
Yeah.
then the SWAT
Like,
just like break down the windows.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
actually so weird. She's like walking through the room and they're trying to do this really like suspenseful
Mhm.
scene. And then
Yeah.
a random cop shows up
just like walks in.
and then all the windows like explode as like they don't explode, but they shatter.
But before that happens, it actually gets really windy all of a
Mhm.
sudden.
Yeah.
So the SWAT team like times their siege, their like whatever you call it.
Yeah,
their
their
s-
sie- their Rainbow Six
Rainbow
Siege.
Six Siege SWAT moment with the wind. They're like,
with the wind.
they're like, wait. Some guy like licks his finger, puts it up in the air. All right, go.
yeah.
Go. And
As
then they break
Alice
in.
runs from the bird box wins.
Yeah,
She's attacked.
the winds from Bird Box.
By the soldiers. And
Mm-hmm.
the one guy is so rough with her. He like pushes her up against a wall.
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you remember anything?" Or he's like, "What does
Yeah.
he say?" He's
I
like,
don't even remember.
He's like, he says like something. He's like, "What's the code word?"
Yeah.
And she's like,
Oh, he asks her like,
What?
"What's the situation?" or something. He's like,
Yeah,
assess.
yeah.
He asks for a report. I think he
Yeah.
asks her for a report, and
Yeah.
she's like, just woke up, memory's gone. So she's
Mhm.
like, what?
she's in her now she's in
What?
like a scarlet dress.
yeah, a scarlet dress. Yeah,
Scarlet.
very,
Which she
very-
will stay in for the rest of the movie.
Yes, but
Yeah.
only this movie.
only this one.
Very
Okay, because she is very different in this one than she is in all the rest.
That's
yes.
true.
Which we will
she's
get to later. but
she's mostly like she's just a girl.
She's
she's
just
just a girl
confused.
who's like tagging along with like this like
super SWAT team.
super SWAT team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SWAT team breaks in. They're like, "What's your?" I don't remember.
Report the situation.
Report the situation, and then they take her to this like random underground base.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's literally just under the house and it's called the Hive.
The Hive. So it's yeah,
Hive.
because like the house is on top of like the tunnel
Mhm,
and then that tunnel via rail car
mhm.
Yeah.
leads to
Resident Evil 2 cable
Resident
car.
Evil 2 cable car leads to the Hive.
The
The Hive.
The
So
Hive.
what is the Hive? Owen?
So the
Do you know?
Hive is one of Umbrella's
Umbrella.
one of Umbrella's
It's a tough
secret
word.
bases that just happens to be under this house. And every time they talk about the Hive, they show like this massive 3D model of it.
Oh my gosh, it's so
and
cool.
it's like skyscraper sized and it's
Yeah.
all
And
underground.
it's all underground. And like the animation for that like blueprint type
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
footage of the building, the layout is, I mean, it's very outdated. This
Yeah.
movie's like
Yeah.
2000?
2002.
2002. So it's very outdated, and they reuse that format, that shot, I guess, for
Mhm.
like and during like all throughout the movies, all
Mhm.
scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
But it
They use the
it
style.
gets better and better every movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
by the sixth one, it's like, whoa. In the first one, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Yeah.
it was cool.
But Umbrella. So for those
Oh,
who haven't
yeah.
played the
Explain
game,
Right,
Umbrella.
right.
Explain
what
Umbrella.
is Umbrella?
Umbrella is an evil pharmaceutical company that just makes like
Big pharma.
bio weapons. Yeah, they're big
Yeah.
pharma in a nutshell.
Yeah.
They make biohazardous diseases and weapons for like foreign governments and
Yeah.
such. So they have a ton of secret labs. Honestly, this movie, the beginning of this movie would be so weird if you didn't know anything about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a good job at explaining
Anything.
anything.
Yeah.
No.
at
Like you
all.
need to have some foundational knowledge.
Yeah, because
of
like
the
if you
games.
know Resident Evil, you're like, oh, she's in a mansion.
Yeah, so right
She's
away.
in a Resident
yeah,
Evil 1 mansion.
Yeah. And then you hear and see, like you hear Umbrella or see their logo and you're
Mhm.
like, boom, right away, I know what that
Mhm.
is. But like Garrett, what was your what were your thoughts on hearing
Yeah.
Umbrella? You're probably just like, okay.
Yeah, it was probably just meh.
You
Like it doesn't really make
probably-
sense. Like I can understand that it's like a bio weapon company, but like I don't understand all the deep lore.
Yeah.
You know? Like you have a very basic understanding of, oh, she's being taken. This is why it's such a fever dream. Because she just gets
Yeah.
taken to this random hive and then gets like just thrown into this whole situation that you don't really like.
Yeah, you don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's not even the opening scene. The
The op-
opening scene is
The thing
in
dropping.
the umbrella. Yeah, the
Yeah.
umbrella facility.
Oh,
Right.
And this guy like throws a vial in like the funniest way. He's like,
It's like,
Eh.
yeah, it's like a shot of his hand like dropping, or did he throw it or did he drop it?
he like
He,
gingerly
Gingerly,
tossed.
I pointed at Garrett.
do it.
'cause
Gingerly
'cause
toss.
like that. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
He throws like a vial
Yeah.
With, like-
At like a sharp edge of
at
a
a,
table.
at a table, and it hits it and breaks and flies everywhere.
Yeah.
And then
an airborne disease.
And then the
see,
girl
because we
gets, like-
see the cop that at the start. Remember, he takes the elevator.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Does
and then
he?
yeah, we see him taking the elevator, and then that ends up being a flashback later because the guy walks
Oh.
past him with the briefcase. Do you guys remember that?
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah.
So that
I
scene
think.
is the opening scene, but it's kind of insignificant until
Yeah, there is like this girl's head gets cut off
Yeah.
by like an elevator shaft
Yeah,
because
she
the
has her-
elevator falls
there's
when
some
she's trying to
weird-
crawl
yeah.
out.
It's wild.
because something happens in the lab. The laboratory.
Yeah, so this virus gets unleashed in the lab that
The
Alice,
T virus.
the
Yeah.
T virus that Alice and her compatriots are now going down to
Compatriot.
investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go down, and it's basically like.
It's like every horror movie ever.
Well,
like,
actually,
from
when they
back
first
in the
get down,
day.
it's not that bad.
That's
They just
actually
kind of go about their business because the like the whole hive is run by this like AI called the Red Queen.
AI.
That's important. Remember that
Yeah,
name.
The Red
Yeah, the
Queen.
Red
The Red Queen. She's running the whole thing, and
She's like a little girl.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's visualized as like a little girl,
Little British girl.
little
Yeah.
British girl, and she like shuts down the whole hive and like kills everybody in it.
It's
because
very
the virus gets
2001
released.
Space Odyssey, like HAL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
HAL, like red light, you know,
Mhm.
can control doors and
The AI
things.
looks
Yeah.
so bad.
It-
Though.
it looks
the CGI,
so bad.
Oh
Hey,
my
they only use
gosh.
the actual
s-
AI
yeah.
for like a short time because it
Mhm.
looks horrible.
horrible.
Yeah. But so they get down there, and then
They find another guy just like lying there that they
Yeah.
take with them.
Yeah. But they come down there with the intent of shutting the Red Queen down because
She like locked everything.
yeah, she like locked everything, and their goal is to unlock everything.
so they can figure out what happened.
Yeah. So they
and
do.
take the data.
They
Back to
they
Umbrella.
get to the Red Queen. Before they do, the security measures that the Red Queen has set up are wild. There's one
yeah,
they end up in this one hallway,
Oh
right?
a very
where-
famous hallway.
Very
in the
famous
Resident
hallway.
Evil
Movies.
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And there's 3 people in there, and then all of a sudden lasers just appear and start coming at them.
Mhm.
At first it's like pretty simple, like there's just like one laser that comes at
It's
them.
like
They're
a
like,
Still
shield
dies,
height.
though.
Yeah.
and they don't know what it's there. So the one person dies.
Yeah, her head gets chopped off.
Yeah.
And then another one comes, and it's like 3 of those lasers, and another person
And it like
dies.
jumps up.
Yeah, it jumps up
Yeah,
and
that
kills
was
the one
crazy.
guy.
That
You
was
think it's just
crazy.
you think you just like jump over it, you know, but
Mhm.
then it just changes
and
completely.
he gets cut in half
Yeah.
anyway.
And the guys are
Yeah.
frantically trying to open the door on the outside of the hallway.
Yeah,
And
hacking into
and
the
then
mainframe.
as they're like
Kaplan is hacking the mainframe.
yeah, as they almost do it, the last guy sees the last lasers coming at him, and it just creates like a checkerboard pattern.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he,
it's
oh,
nuts.
it's so
And
gross.
he gets
Oh.
cut into like a billion.
Basically gets like you
If-
know, like those like the fry cutter where you put a potato and you like push it.
yeah, it's just like
It
that.
gets like waffle stomped
Yeah.
by
It's-
lasers.
If
It's a
anyone
waffle
is
stomp.
familiar with the opening scene of the movie Cube, it's like that guy. He gets
I'm not
checkerboard
familiar.
murder.
Yeah, I'm
as
not
well.
familiar with that
I
one.
know.
Okay. Yeah, so
Just
they
had
get
to
in.
be niche.
They open the doors after that, and the lasers
Yeah.
don't come back on. So they continue, and they shut the Red Queen down, which
Yeah.
turns off all of her defenses
Yeah.
and unleashes.
Everything. That's stuck
Everything.
down there. And she says her famous line.
Yeah,
You're all going to die down here.
you're
That was
all
pretty
going to
good.
die down here.
Yeah. And then
They leave. They
and then
discover
a
the
ton
zombies.
of them die down here.
yeah, yeah.
In
Yeah.
some.
And then we have a very like on brand Resident Evil kind of introduction to the zombies.
Mhm.
You know, they seem like a regular like a dead person or whatever, and then they come alive and they're just roaming around in the dark,
Yeah.
and they take a bunch of shots to take down.
yeah.
Yep.
This
a
the
lot.
first zombie gets hit with like first she gets shot like 5 times in like the
Yeah.
knee and then the head.
Yeah.
And then someone else comes up and shoots her with an assault rifle so hard she does like a back.
She does a backflip, and
Yeah.
it's so funny because you can tell she's like on ropes, like the act,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
the double or the whatever you call
Stunt.
them, the stunt
Mhm,
double
mhm.
is like on ropes. So like she's like backflipping, and it's so funny.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
Another major character in this movie is Rain, played by
Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez, who, if you know, is Letty from Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's in these
That's- I
movies
didn't know her name from
frequently, but she's
Yeah.
fun. She, she's the typical super cool female character.
Yeah.
She's actually kind of what Alice becomes as the movies
That's
go.
true.
That's actually that's
She's
true.
like a. She's
Yeah.
like yeah.
she's
she-
very battle hardened.
Yeah.
Like
Badass.
yeah.
yeah.
She's like
Badass.
there to be
Whoa.
serious and to get down to,
Businesses.
brass
Business.
tacks. Like she's not there to mess around.
Brass
She doesn't
tacks.
smile a lot.
No. Does she smile?
I don't think she smiles. She does later, but in a different context, which
That's
will
true.
Yeah, it's true.
But in this movie, she's very like serious and like she's basically frown. Like every shot of her is her like frowning with a gun in her hands. Like that's all it is.
Literally.
It's amazing. She's kind of like that in Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
If I'm not.
She's
mistaken.
like happier.
she's a little bit.
she's
more,
nice.
Yeah.
We'll
But
probably talk about those movies eventually.
yeah, we probably
Stay
Yeah.
will. Stay tuned.
But
A 10 movie marathon.
anyway, she gets bitten by a zombie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, it's 11 movies. She gets bitten by a zombie on like the webbing.
Yeah, the webbing of her palm. Or
Her-
hand.
Yep.
Palm.
And then,
Poem.
of course, they don't know the consequences of a zombie bite. She
No.
also takes forever to become a zombie.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's
true.
actually
She does.
remarkable.
So she starts like fevering up
Yep.
Yeah.
and getting sweaty and tired.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they keep like going through the complex. I think at this point, their goal is just to find a vaccine or to escape. It's
At this
one of
point,
the-
their goal is just to escape because they have
I
a
don't think
2 hour
they
limit.
know. I don't think
Yes.
they know there's like an antidote yet. or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true. They don't know.
Yeah,
about
they
the
find that like
antidote.
halfway through.
So yeah, they keep like moving through. I don't know. It's mostly that they move through. Eventually, they get like separated because of all of the zombies.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Alice like wanders into like a dog kennel,
Yeah.
like with experimental zombies. And if you've played the games, it's the Cerberus, which are just zombie dogs. They
Yeah.
just have to be special like that.
Grr.
And she has a very Resident Evil encounter. She like a zombie comes at her and she like pushes it and it like hits a wall and falls down.
Yeah.
And then it like has a gun in its
Yeah. In its holster.
holster and she like reaches down to grab it like every Resident Evil
Yeah.
protagonist ever.
like slowly grab the gun
Yeah.
to find a new weapon in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a cool
They
shot.
do a few
And
like that.
There's
Yeah.
actually quite a bit of moments like that.
Yeah.
And then like 7 of the dogs show up and she like domes all of them
Yeah,
with
she just,
one
like,
magazine.
She just becomes a ninja.
yeah, and
yeah.
then
And why is that? Because she is a
Trained operative.
Trained
yeah,
operative.
she's a trained operative for Umbrella.
umbrella.
She has
Right.
like, so she's married and her wedding ring, the inside of the wedding ring just says property of Umbrella Corps, which
Yeah,
is
that's
crazy.
Crazy.
And her
Crazy.
husband is this guy they find earlier on. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He's alive and with them
Yeah.
and gets extremely sweaty by the end of the movie.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
they must have been spraying him with like water.
Yeah.
But just
When the
between-
barber just hits you with too
Yeah,
much
which
water.
is the-
That's him in a nutshell.
Yeah, all the time. But yeah, so she has like these physical abilities.
Yeah.
Like she's a,
she does like
she's basically-
parkour.
Black Widow in a way. Like
Yeah.
She is,
that
like,
kind of-
actually.
that kind of strength and like agility and martial arts skills.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
she's like slowly remembering it, right?
Mhm.
Like it kind
Mhm.
of like it like kicks in moments of trauma. I
Yeah.
think.
yeah.
So like when she's fighting
Severe
the dogs and
stress.
zombies and whatnot, she all of a sudden can do like a jumping flying kick.
yeah. She like
Yeah.
parkours off the
Yeah.
walls
Does the
and
so
kicks a dog.
suddenly has like incredible ability, and
Yeah.
we're slowly being told that like she is this person.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right, 'cause
She
she-
works for
yeah.
Umbrella.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You're kind of starting to understand that she might not actually be the good guy, but the movie doesn't
Right.
really like super play it that way.
Yeah.
But it is a question that can come up. 'Cause you're like,
Yeah.
oh wait, because Umbrella
she
is
works for the bad guys.
Yeah.
notoriously evil.
Notoriously.
They
We-
come up.
We might have to motor through this one. We have like 40 minutes to talk about 2 more movies.
Okay, I can motor through it right now. Do you guys mind?
Yes.
Go for it.
So then they find the cop's sister, who was apparently an informant. She's in Umbrella to try and expose them, and Alice was the person who was going to expose Umbrella with her. But because some random guy released the virus, they didn't have time, and so she died inside as a zombie. But now we kind of know that Alice isn't actually that bad of a person, and
Right.
she knows that for herself as well because she has her flashbacks. There's a liquor inside the facility.
A
which
liquor.
is a famous monster from Resident Evil 2. It's like this disgusting clawed abomination.
Yeah.
Its head is just like a brain and a mouth.
It's just and has a really long tongue.
Yeah, hence the lickage.
Sponsored by
TM.
Dr. Pepper.
No, we're
Just
not.
kidding.
We're
Just
not.
kidding.
That's like illegal.
Oh, right. We're not sponsored.
But
We're
they
not.
should though.
Yeah, we want them to.
It's still cold.
It is still cold. Well, it came from our fridge.
Right.
It's not very carbonated anymore.
No, it's pretty flat.
It's been there for like a week.
No, what?
Yes. So then they find that the Red Queen tells them that there's a vaccine,
Yep.
and they're like, "Oh, we can get out of here." But then they're like told they're in a room with Rain, and the AI is like, "You got to kill Rain because she's infected, or I'm not gonna let you out."
Right. She kind of gives them an ultimatum or kind of like I guess an ultimatum.
Yeah, an
but like
ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
a moment of decision.
Decision.
Yeah.
But then it's done really weird. Alice is like looks like she's about to chop Rain.
Yeah.
But
with
then
like a
she
fire
chops
axe.
like a monitor, and then like everything
Oh, yeah.
shuts down.
Yeah.
And
Which
you're
makes
like,
no sense.
yeah, as an audience member, you're like, I don't think that's how
Just
electricity works.
a random monitor that the AI is the Red Queen is like
Using.
using to
Yeah.
to like show her face, I guess.
Yeah.
And that like shuts down a bunch of like things.
Yeah,
including like the Red Queen herself
Yeah.
in that room at least.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
Well,
It's not
they-
the source.
yeah, the next shot is Kaplan shutting down
Oh,
all the
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it's like
They definitely
What?
they make it seem
like Alice.
like Alice just
did
kind
that.
of did that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then they get the antivirus, they inject Rain with it, but she's too far gone.
yeah.
So then this is as they're on the cable car trying to leave because like
Mhm.
all of them
Yeah.
are dead
So they
except
think
for
we think everything's like fine. Like we think Rain's dead, and then she's injected with thing, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm not dead yet," or something.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
so-
actually crazy. Alice is like about to shoot her in the
Right,
head, and
yeah.
then she like pushes the
Yeah,
gun
she
aside.
pushes the gun out, and she's like,
I'm not dead yet.
And then the liquor attacks and
Yeah.
tries to lick
Yeah, so the liquor attacks. He scratches the cops,
Matt. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
the
cop.
cop's arm.
Yeah,
And then he takes someone away. Who is it?
he like rips apart Alice's fake husband, who's actually revealed to be the person who released the T virus in the
Yeah,
first
he's a bad
place.
guy.
He did the
Yeah, he's the one who drops the virus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and he's not ginger.
No.
No. He does, but
Not
he
that
throws
that
it
matters.
gingerly.
Yeah, so
He-
Alice
Drops it
is like
gingerly.
actively fighting the liquor
yeah. And then Rain becomes a zombie,
and tries
Yeah.
to eat her.
and Matt
Yeah.
also.
And Matt.
The way she fights the
The cop.
liquor is really cool though, because the liquor has a really long and thick tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
it kind of like lashes, like she like throws it out to like
It
coil
lacerates.
you and pull you in to eat you, I guess, or like
Mhm.
rip you apart. So she like her foot is her leg is like coiled
Mhm.
up by the tongue, and then she like stabs the tongue with like a metal pole,
broken
Mhm.
steel
broken
pipe.
steel pipe through like a grate, and then it like she like stabs it, and then it like obviously hurts the liquor,
Mm-hmm.
and then the liquor like I think the back of the cable car is open,
Mm-hmm.
and he like falls off, and I don't know, it was
He
cool.
literally like burns up on
Yeah.
the tracks because he's just being
Yeah.
dragged. by, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Very very cool ending, I think, at least that little
Yeah,
fight scene.
that scene is cool.
But that's not the end though.
No, they
Mhm.
make it back,
Because-
and now it's just Alice and the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They make it back to the like mansion or whatever.
and they killed Rain when she became a zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they killed Rain when she was a zombie. They make it back to the mansion that they were in at the beginning, and they just kind of like are talking, and then another door opens, and just another set of like SWAT people in
And
like
hazmat
hazmat suits come in and just like chain the cop Matt to
Yeah.
a table
While
Yeah.
they hold Alice back.
while they
Yeah.
hold Alice back. And he's the cut that the liquor got on him is like
There's something-
pulsating.
It's
Yeah.
festering. Something's like crawling
Something's
out.
yeah, there's little
festering.
worms coming
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah.
we want him for the Nemesis.
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, so that's a
And-
very important line.
Yeah,
That's
an
a Resident
important
Evil
line.
thing.
And
Yeah.
then they take him
Black
away
Ted.
and she's kind of like, no.
No,
But it's
no.
weird because this all happens after what we kind of think or
Was the
thought
end.
was the end,
Yeah.
right? Like everything kind of like,
That
Calmed
that
itself
scene
down.
you expect to be the end. When
Yeah.
he's
When-
dragged away
Yeah.
and she's like, no.
And then they cut. And it's it feels like that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then they
Mhm.
cut to her again naked on a table.
she has like she has
like a
ta-
napkin.
like a towel. Or
She
like
has a
napkin,
dentist's
a
bib.
dentist's bib on her front side
Yeah.
that is just big enough to cover, but
the important
small
pieces.
enough to
Reveal.
be interested, like to be like, that's
Oh.
a funny shot, you know? So she has one of those on the front and one of those at the back, and they are tied together by like a
Yeah.
microscopically thin
Yep.
thread.
Yeah.
She wakes up essentially
like
naked
that. Yeah, essentially.
on the
Pseudo
table,
naked.
and then just kind of like walks
plugged in,
out.
like with like
Yeah, she's
needles-
plugged with
Oh,
like
yeah.
10
everywhere,
needles.
like in her
They're like in her
forehead.
head. and
Think
they're-
like
her
think like in the Matrix when they wake up and they like pull
Yeah,
the
that's
kinda
wire
real.
things out of their
It's-
head.
And so
It's
she
so
does that.
gross.
She
pulls
does
them out.
that.
She
Yeah.
pulls out a needle from her arm, and it's like as thick as like a
it's
pencil.
so
like
It's
huge.
wild.
Yeah, and she like screams in
screaming.
agony. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty hard to watch.
Yeah, and then she walks out and she's like in a white hospital,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Labeled with umbrella
Yeah.
memorabilia
Yeah.
insignias.
and then she walks outside. Everything is like
Abandoned.
abandoned. There's
The
Like
streets are
every-
like there's cars on fire, crash cars everywhere. There's paper and debris everywhere.
Yeah.
but no
This,
people.
this is
No people.
very, for those of you who have seen The Walking Dead, this is very, very that first episode when the main character walks out of the hospital after
Mhm.
like a coma and everything's just like,
Yeah.
it's like a zombie apocalypse. All
Yeah.
of a
It's
sudden.
very,
It's very
28 days later
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So that shot happens
Mhm.
and then it
And she
zooms
like
out.
she like pulls a shotgun out of a cop car
Yeah.
and she like
yeah,
pumps it, cocks
Yeah.
it, whatever
Pumps-
the word is.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends as it like zooms
It like
out.
zooms out.
yeah, But it's
so-
it's just whack because like they do like the first 10 minutes of what should be the next movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
first
and
I
movie,
guess
it's
it's
whack.
a good segue. into
Yeah,
the next
it's
one,
like
but
a
it's
post credit scene, but it's so much longer than a post
And
credit.
And it's also
happens-
not.
It happens after what like if they had the last 10 minutes of the movie could have been cut out,
Yeah.
it would have ended
The
Mhm.
movie.
fine.
Yeah,
So they add
Mhm.
like an extra little bit of action and then like a
Intrigue.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting way to
yeah.
End of
format
movie.
it.
Yeah.
All right,
but
so
nonetheless.
yeah,
this
it was
is-
whack.
That's the first movie.
That's the
Yeah.
first movie. So we're gonna rate each of the 6 movies.
Should we come up with a different rating scale for each one? Because it's gonna be hard.
No, I think we can do this one. We can do
Okay,
this one.
okay.
So the rating system for each individual movie is going to be I need you to rate it as like a weapon to kill zombies with.
Oh. Interesting.
Oh,
We'll get Joel's first because he's the
let me-
guest.
let me think about this because it's a good movie. It was fun to watch.
Mhm.
Wasn't like the best, zombie movie I think I've ever seen, zombie
Mhm.
piece of media per se. But I very much enjoyed it. Good action. It was like cheesy in a good way, you know?
Mhm.
Wow. So a weapon that you would use in a zombie
That you would
apocalypse.
use in a
Mhm.
zombie apocalypse.
Okay, I would say, I think I'm just gonna say like a shotgun because it does a good job. It can be pretty efficient. I think there are better weapons out there
Mm.
in a zombie apocalypse. Maybe like something that doesn't use ammo, for example, like a sword. So it's not like the most cost efficient, I guess. But it does the job well, and it's
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
It's super
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
my rating.
Valid.
I'll go with, I guess, like a nailed bat.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty simple, pretty by the numbers.
Mhm.
Like it's popular. This movie made $100 million.
Somehow. Somehow.
crazy, 'cause I'd never
Probably
heard-
because it has the Resident
Yeah.
Evil moniker,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's cool. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't have much to say.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm gonna say it's like a machete for a lot of the
I
same
was gonna say
reasons.
a
Like it's
machete.
pretty basic, like compared to the next movies, they don't do anything
It's
super
basic.
crazy in this movie. But yeah, it gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty solid. It
Yeah.
would be pretty fun to swing around at some decaying zombies.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, movie 2.
Movie 2.
Resident
Movie 2.
Evil Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Right.
So
How does this one start?
It
the
opens
same
with
way the
it
first one
opens-
ended.
it opens with the 10 minutes that we were just discussing in the first one.
Right.
Asset reuse.
So they
Yep.
yeah. So what? So they're just she's in the street.
Yeah, so
and-
she's in the street pumping her shotgun.
Yeah.
And then I think it cuts to Jill entering the police station with all the
Yes.
zombies.
The Jill
So
Valentine.
Jill Valentine.
Jill Valentine, a character from the games.
Yeah.
She stars in Resident Evil 3 as the primary protagonist, and she's one of the protagonists in 1. She's a side character in 5.
Yep.
Yep.
Those are the only games that matter.
potentially-
Sorry, Revelations fans.
Potentially main character for the upcoming 9th.
9.
Ooh.
We don't know. The leaks.
I need it to be
Hopefully are true.
Leon.
Leon and Jill.
That would be nice.
Yeah. That would be
But
fun.
anyway, so I think this movie assumes that game 1, which happens in another mansion in the Arklay Mountains, because this movie takes place in Raccoon City, which is the setting for Resident Evil 2 and 3, the
Yep.
games.
Mhm.
Because she comes into this police station where there's like very clearly zombies. And this is like, at this point, the society hasn't collapsed yet. Like it's pretty normal
Yeah.
still.
Yeah,
And
they're reacting to zombies for the first time.
yeah,
in this
and
bit.
I like the
she
origin.
walks in and just like domes these zombies
yeah.
in like a crowded office
Yeah.
Like
too.
if she missed a shot,
She'd
would
kill someone
kill
else.
someone like a perfectly
innocent.
Innocent
healthy person.
bystander.
Yeah.
But
Well,
she
I mean,
doesn't.
it is a police station.
But
Not everyone
she
there
is Jill
innocent.
Valentine. She's like super cool.
She's so
super
cool.
good.
Yep.
She's
and
actually,
everything.
her outfit's perfectly
Actually,
accurate.
I think she looks great, like compared to like the games. They did a good job of like
yeah.
live actioning her. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
They did. They did.
But yeah, she kills a ton of people. So I'm assuming that this game, this movie assumes the first game is canon. Because
Right.
somehow she knows about zombies before
Right.
everyone else does. Oh, and it's also, if you're wondering, like, oh, how did the outbreak get out of the mansion? The second movie also has this scene of like the hazmat people going into the hive again and getting attacked by zombies. And so
yeah, because
it gets out.
Yeah, they wanted to know what happens
Yeah.
more. They just
Mhm.
want more information, so they go in and they just
Mess
get
it all up.
massacred.
Why
Yeah.
don't they have like a cloud for their
I don't know, man.
for their like security footage?
Yeah.
Like that would save them a lot
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a
Maybe
potential outbreak.
yeah, maybe Isaac's is just that sadistic.
Isaacs. Yes.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But yeah, so she's really cool, you know. She saves this guy named LJ who's
Mhm.
honestly, I don't really like LJ. He's kind of just he has like 2 golden magnums and he's just kind of annoying
Yeah.
in my opinion.
He is, but he just kind of like for most of the movie, he just kind of wanders around the city. Like
Mhm.
I don't think he ever actually fights a zombie.
He hits one with a car.
Yeah,
He's
but like after
GTA!
but like that's true. But like after that, he never like fights
Does
another
anything.
zombie. Like
Yeah.
he ends up in this one police station with a bunch of the like what are they? Like the
Stars.
stars?
Yeah, stars.
What does it stand for?
Special Tactics and Rescue Squad.
Thank
really
you.
cool police officers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool police officers.
Jill
There's
is
one-
a star.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
So they were there. He shows up there with all those cops, and then this thing shows up.
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Which is from the game Resident Evil 3.
Yeah,
And
I've
it's
played this one.
basically- He has.
Yeah.
I know this one.
Why don't you go ahead and explain?
Okay,
that?
so it's basically, if you remember from the first movie, Matt, the cop guy, he got like slashed or whatever, and it was like pulsating at the end of the first movie. So he essentially like morphed into this weird alien looking creature thing that just
Mhm.
is like programmed to kill everything that he's told to.
Yeah. So in this movie, the stars, or in this universe, because the game as well.
Yeah.
Any stars member,
Mhm.
and so we see a shot at some point in the movie of him with like he has like a built-in HUD.
He
system.
does.
Like I don't know if it's like a special like contact lens that he has in or
Mhm.
something, or is it just part of who he is?
Mhm.
But he
Part of who he
basically
is.
looks at a crowd of people and can tell who is a stars operative
Mhm.
or not, and he will just kill the STARS operatives,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
not the other people, not the
Nope.
Yeah.
because they're no threat.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's just a big husk of a man.
Yeah.
Of a
He's
thing.
Matt from the first movie,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, he
You
is
said
Matt.
that. He is Matt.
He just
But
has weird colored skin. Like
He's
it's
just
Yeah.
ugly.
He's
yeah,
like
he's like a big
he's kind of
mutant.
You wouldn't be able to tell that it's Matt
No.
in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or
No,
form.
he's just humanoid.
except for his blue eye.
Yeah, he has one blue eye.
Beautiful.
Beautiful
Blue
blue eye.
Okay.
He
Beguiling.
he carries a bunch of big weapons. Like he has
Yeah.
a minigun in one arm and like a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
he packs a punch. And in the games, he's super annoying. He's basically he follows you around everywhere and he just tries to
Punch
to-
ya.
He just kills you.
his only goal is to kill you. And he just-
Yeah.
nothing can stop him. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's kind of an anti-hero, which is really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
It is a little bit.
I mean, like I get it because he's Matt, so it's like
Mhm.
it has to be all sweet and whatever.
yeah. He
Okay.
kills all the stars, but he doesn't in that scene, it's shown that he's like trying to kill all the stars because he kills like literally 30 of them and manages
19.
to not kill LJ, who's
Yeah.
just kind of standing in the middle.
Because is LJ the taxi
Yeah.
driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
the third one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So they're standing in like kind of like a storefront or something.
What? He's annoying.
And he basically shoots everyone in the crowd with his minigun.
Mhm.
And then LJ is just standing there like this, kind of like, flinching,
Cowering.
cowering, thinking he's going to get shot by the minigun that's just kind of like shooting everywhere.
Mhm.
And then the shooting stops. And then he like looks around and everyone around him who are STARS operatives they're all dead.
Yeah.
And
But-
he's chilling.
And then that's
He's
when
chilling.
it cuts to like the HUD I was talking about.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
Where Nemesis is like sees him standing up and he's like, oh, like
Mhm.
armed civilian, minimal threat. And then the guy like drops his guns, LJ drops his guns. Then it says like unarmed civilian, no threat. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beyond like the whole Nemesis arc of this movie, it's probably the most like zombie movie of
Yeah.
all of
It's
the
just
zombie
outbreak
movies.
in the big city.
Yeah.
I
So,
kind
like-
I
like,
kind of
there's-
forget a lot of this one though.
There's
I
some
can hit you with all of
there's
it.
some pretty epic scenes where like Alice comes and saves Jill
Yeah,
and her
we're getting
friends.
to that.
What?
We're getting to that.
What?
What?
Okay.
Okay.
That's literally the next scene. That's what I was.
Fine. Go for it.
What?
Yep.
What?
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 Okay, fine. So Jill.
Sorry.
So Jill ends up in this like church, and she's there with like two
Yes, I
other
remember this.
people.
Yeah.
One of them's like a news reporter, and the other one's like,
Terry and
Oh,
Peyton.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. She shows up at this church, and then they like get attacked by like 3 lickers. Or
Yeah.
something.
There's
And
3
then-
of
Right.
them.
And then Alice, they like fight the lickers for a few seconds and do like basically nothing. And then
Yeah.
Jill like on a motorcycle Alice on a motorcycle comes barreling through the window and then like just kills all of the lickers.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. She like gives one. She mostly just hits them with buckshot from her dual shotguns with no
Mhm.
recoil because she's just that sick. She like hits a cross and it like falls on top of a licker and then
That
it
was
can't
really
move.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a really cool shot. I remember that.
yeah,
Because one thing is like Jill Valentine right away Jill Valentine is introduced if you like didn't know already from the games.
Yeah.
He's introduced as a character who's like very capable, very, very good at shooting and fighting and killing things, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
But then Alice kind of like one ups that
In
fact,
every
those facts,
scene.
right? And I think that's one of the complaints of this series, and
Yeah,
at least something that we brought up while watching is that like
Mhm.
Jill, the spotlight is kind of taken from her.
yeah.
by
all
Alice.
all of the Resident Evil
Yeah.
characters are very like
They're kind of
they're cool, but Alice is
Alice
cooler.
is just better in every way.
yeah.
Literally.
Which can at first, I think for me at least, I was kind of like, okay, because like Alice isn't in the games,
Yeah.
whereas Jill is.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, okay, what like Jill is so cool in the games, and then in the movie, Alice is like this random character who just
Yeah.
woke up from like memory loss and is all of a sudden better.
Yeah.
But it grows on you.
It totally
It
grows.
grows
It
on you.
does. It does.
Like
Um,
Alice is so cool.
Alice is so cool.
Alice is so
She's
cool.
also like, she we forgot to mention this, but when she was in the hospital, it's revealed that she was injected with the T virus.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
for
that's how
her
she- yeah.
specifically,
It like bonds
It-
with her DNA.
yeah, it does things differently than it does with
Yeah.
other people. So she gets like strength, and agility, and that's all they say she has for this movie.
She basically gets superpowers. She becomes like Captain America.
Yeah, she
without
gets
the
the
shield.
superhero cocktail.
Without looking at
The superhero cocktail.
Yeah, enhanced durability, enhanced strength, enhanced agility, whatever that means.
Yeah, literally.
Agility.
Anyway, then they're like leaving. I can't understate how honestly cool it is that she like comes into the church through the stained glass window on a motorcycle with 2 shotguns.
Yeah.
But
really,
anyway,
really cool.
They leave, they go through a graveyard where zombies come out of the ground, which
it doesn't really make sense.
In Resident Evil, it wouldn't make sense. In this movie, it kind of does, because the Red Queen in the first movie says that it reanimates dead DNA.
Oh, it's true.
So it does make sense, but
if it's airborne,
weird.
It is weird.
Because it is an airborne thing.
And how's it like getting down there into the?
It's airborne
6 feet
through
under?
the air.
I think it's just cool.
Yeah, it just makes for a cool scene for them to like fight the zombies.
Like a thriller, Michael Jackson type.
Yeah.
Just hand.
So then
they get sent to find.
Yeah.
There's the doctor who like created the T virus.
But he created it for noble reasons.
Yeah, he created it for noble reasons. To like save his daughter, but his daughter is stuck inside the city, which at this point they've like completely sectioned off and like
they're basically killing anyone who tries to leave.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but the doctor is like saved from the city, and he's like, I'm not leaving until we save my daughter, but no one will go inside the walls.
Yeah.
So no one will go save his daughter. So he sends Jill and Alice and all of them to go get his daughter for him, which they do. She's like hidden in a school. They like travel to the school. A bunch of child zombies eat the reporter. Yeah. And then
that scene was crazy. That scene was crazy. Yeah. There's like that. I remember that she's like walking to school, and there's like one girl just sitting down, kind of facing the ground. And then she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And then did we forget a character?
No, keep going. Sorry. We'll circle back.
She sees a person, like a little girl, and then I think she like puts her hand on her shoulder, like talks or something. And then she kind of gets ambushed by like a whole classroom of them. But like, you don't
I don't know how they snuck up on her.
You don't understand how odd it is, like, how weird it is. They just like, there's no footsteps.
They spawn.
The camera just cuts, and there's just like a ton of them in the room.
And she dies.
So funny, and she dies.
Recorded by her own camera.
Yeah.
So poetic.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of realizing that we have not very much time. Should we just like sprint through these movies and only talk about the parts that are like actually fun to talk about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And explain exposition as we go?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. If you want more detail,
watch the movies.
We actually recommend them.
We had to rent all of them, which was
like
really sad. Except the first one, which was on Netflix. But the other ones we had to rent.
on Crave.
Yes,
Apparently.
It is on Crave.
So
you have Crave
with
you
premium
get
subscription. Yes.
But
okay.
Anyways,
so
wrap up
do
the
we
second.
need to talk about Carlos? He's not like, it doesn't really.
I don't know. There's another guy who's also in the city.
Yeah,
he's important later. I guess
he's more important to the third movie than he is to the second movie.
Yeah, but he's a character from the games.
Yeah, Carlos Oliveira, who
he works. He also works for Umbrella, but he's like less of an operative as Alice.
Yeah.
He's in the city. He's just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
Anyway, the movie culminates.
I want to talk about the fire blankets.
Oh, okay.
That was so
valid.
cool.
That's valid.
Okay.
When they're in the school, Jill goes to like save the daughter, whose name is Angela Ashford. I'll put aside the Ashford lore for now, but she's like running with the girl through the cafeteria because there's 2 dogs in there, and she like turns on all the burners, like just the gas, and she runs out. And then this is another example of the like Resident Evil characters just don't get to be cool.
Yeah.
She like throws a matchbox back into the room behind her, and it like fizzles out in midair. But then like Alice walks in and like, what does she throw? Like a cigarette she was smoking?
Yeah, a cigarette.
She throws a cigarette she was smoking into the room, and then like wraps a fire blanket around the 3 of them.
Right away. Like
instantly. Yeah, and then like the entire room explodes, and they're like engulfed in the flame, but because of the fire blanket, they're okay.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
really
So
cool. It's so cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, we were all like, because like the moment was stolen. But then it's like, it's a really cool moment right after. So you're like, oh
yeah, it's so cool.
It was cool.
Okay, now.
So the movie culminates in the finale when Nemesis.
This part.
Nemesis is like they all end up trying to escape the city. The doctor or whatever has like come back to get them in like a helicopter, come into the city in the helicopter, and the like villain guy who like I don't even know is like an operative. He's like a captain or something for Umbrella. Doesn't really matter. He's not important. He shows up and he's like he explains to them who Nemesis is.
Yeah.
And then he tells Alice that she was also created by Umbrella, just like Nemesis was.
Via T-virus.
They
don't reveal any
more than
too
that.
Crazy yet.
And then he tells her to fight Nemesis. Because the whole point of creating them, the whole point of creating her to give her the powers was to make her a better version of Nemesis.
Yeah.
And
Project Alice.
So they just like fist fight.
Yeah.
But the way it's presented, it's like, all right, so you're going to fight him and they're going to like make a circle and then they just like walk up to each other and have a street fight.
Yeah.
Like it's like
zombies
there's
nowhere
a
to
zombie
be seen.
apocalypse happening.
Somewhere.
They're just in some like a parking lot.
Yeah, they're on the
roof.
Yeah, they're on the roof of a parking lot.
Yeah, on the roof of a parking lot kind of thing. And it's just like a weird little scene that's so
It's so random.
It's I don't know, it's
so random.
Interesting. It's just a fight scene.
Yeah.
And
it's cool.
It is cool,
like,
but
it's fine.
cool.
It almost makes you forget that there's a zombie apocalypse happening.
Yeah. And then the zombies show up like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, right at the end. Just to kill the captain guy at the end.
Yeah.
The zombies.
So
show
Nemesis, Alice wins, I guess.
Yeah, Alice beats him kind of.
Nemesis takes out a rocket launcher and decides, I'm gonna be a good guy now.
Yeah.
So he shoots like 2 helicopters and one helicopter collides with another helicopter and then the second helicopter just like hits Nemesis and he's just like dead. They don't it's kind of hilarious.
He just dies.
He just gets hit by the helicopter and it's just like they never mention him again. He's gone.
Yeah, he's dead. Alice has like one moment of like, Matt, no. And then they move on.
I feel like that happens a lot in this.
Yeah, it's true.
They don't have time to mourn.
Lots of characters die.
So many characters
and they're like,
die.
okay.
They're not scared at all to kill people in this series. It's kind of crazy.
Then the main characters flee on a helicopter. Charles Ashford, the dad of the girl,
gets
he
killed.
dies. He turns into a zombie. He
and the doctor
eats
guy,
the
and he eats the captain.
Guy. They
And then-
leave in a helicopter. So Jill, LJ, Carlos,
Angela,
which is the little girl, and did I already say Alice? All of them. They leave on the helicopter.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter crashes.
Yeah, and then that's the end. Because then they
not
well, they do another one where it's
give
like
us the
crash
first
outside
10
the city,
movies.
kind of in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then and then there's another one of those like
so then
10 minutes of the next movie.
And the 10 minutes of the next movie are the 10 minutes from the first movie, aren't? Or no, they're not.
No. You find we end up with Jill in like a tank, Alice in a tank, once again naked. This time there's no napkin.
No,
she's like actually totally,
but she's just
like
naked
Luke
in the tube.
Skywalker in a back to tank type.
Yeah, exactly. And then she breaks out of the tube.
Yeah, and it turns out she has telekinesis now.
And she just massacres a bunch of people and then runs away.
Yeah,
and then that's
she kills a guy through a camera. Which is crazy.
Yeah, really sick.
And she just like literally looks at the camera and then he just bleeds from all
like
orifices.
Yeah.
We kept making jokes about
11
I like Papa.
Stranger Things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the third movie.
Yeah,
the second movie.
She escapes. But it's implied that like Umbrella can see through her eyes when they have a satellite over her.
Right.
Yeah.
Cut to the third movie now.
Wait, we have to rate.
Oh yeah. How
Rating,
much time
Joel?
do we have?
We'll have like 30 minutes for the next
that's
one.
good.
Max.
Okay.
So
There's no
this
max.
second movie, very, very cool. Reminded me of the third game, a lot. I like how it's just like in a city. It's very, I don't know. It was a pretty good zombie apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
It's like big city crowds, kind of the origin, I guess, of it. Not really, well, not the origin, but like the public origin of the virus, of like the outbreak.
Yeah.
And everything just happening. Whereas in the first movie is a little more contained. Wow. What?
We didn't even. Sorry. The helicopter crashes because they nuke Raccoon City.
Oh, true.
I forgot
Oh,
to say
Yeah,
yeah.
that.
they nuke the city.
Nuke
genetic-
the city.
They
They
just
just because to stop the zombies from getting away, they just nuke the city.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
blame it all on like a nuclear.
It's actually so funny. They have like a little scene where they're like, crazy report from reporter Terry Robinson, who's the one who gets killed by the little
Yeah.
girls. And then like literally a second later, they're like,
Just kidding, everything was a lie.
completely a
Yeah,
hoax by
so-
Terry Robinson.
They
Yeah.
like
It's
they
so
like
funny.
They retcon
denounce,
it.
denounce the outbreak, which is
Crazy.
funny.
They
I
do,
feel
like-
like that would happen in real life.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Umbrella owns
Yeah.
the media.
Exactly.
Umbrella owns everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Anyway, rating.
What do I rate it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think I rate it like a nail gun. A nail gun,
Oh.
because it's a pretty cool thing. Like it
Mhm.
looks cool. I would love to like use it in a zombie apocalypse. But when I think about it, it's not spectacular.
Yeah.
There are better weapons out there. A nail gun wouldn't really be too good in a zombie apocalypse, I don't
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
But it is kind of like cool to see in a movie or somewhere. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it was a good movie. Not my favorite. Some weird choices. But all in all,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd give this one like staying on the like blades that I did from the last one. Be like a katana. Like it's definitely cooler
Mm.
than the machete, and it's probably like a little bit better of a zombie movie,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it's not the best. It's definitely not ideal.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there it gets better from here.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a fire extinguisher because I think it's kind of dull, but it's
Yeah.
fun to play with.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
good.
you don't really do in a zombie apocalypse, but you know,
Yeah.
You
when
could.
you're panicking, you
could.
just
take it
spray
off
the
wall
zombies
or
with the
bash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
The third movie.
Resident Evil
Stray.
Extinction.
All right, so before we get into the third movie, remember the daughter that they spent like the entire second movie saving? That daughter doesn't exist.
She's gone.
She doesn't. She's not
even
real.
mentioned, not
Never
even-
mentioned
Yeah.
again.
Never
She's
mentioned. She
fake.
didn't. They didn't even describe her death. They just.
Arguably
she doesn't
the
exist.
plot of the last one.
Yes. Also, Jill is gone.
Yeah. Also, Jill is gone.
And the reason is the actress.
The actress had
actor-
like a different movie. I think the
couldn't-
movie was Aragon, which is
Mm. So
she will be back.
she will be back.
She will be
Spoilers,
back.
but she'll be back.
in a while.
Angela will not. Angela
She's
doesn't
never coming
exist.
back.
She just doesn't come back.
I don't actually know if
In
she's
fact,
real.
they actually retcon later in the series. They retcon her existence completely.
do they?
Yep, in the sixth one, pretty much, because they take the whole story of the doctor and the
Oh,
the
Oh,
daughter
yeah,
and
that's
change
true.
everything.
That's true.
They
You're
literally
right.
retcon her
You're
ever
right.
existing in the
Yeah, they
sixth
just
Okay.
movie.
they just write over it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But
Yeah.
okay.
So movie 3,
It's like Mad
it's
Max.
just Mad Max now.
It's literally it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
I
so
love this
sick.
pretty cool.
It's so
It's crazy.
sick.
It's not Resident Evil.
No.
at all.
No.
It's not any of the
But
Resident Evils.
by this point, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it
No.
doesn't matter
It's
because
just a
you're just in
cool-
it. You're
yeah,
in
you
it for
just-
the
you're in it.
ride.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, the plot was
Mid.
a little bit mid, a little hard
Yeah.
to follow, but the action was cool.
Yeah, I
Pretty
It
think
was
it's
So, like,
cool.
it
so
kinda-
sick.
So you kind of remember tidbits of like
Yeah.
different action scenes. But
Mhm.
Claire Redfield is in this
Claire
movie
Redfield.
to
Yeah.
replace Jill Valentine.
yeah, so Claire Redfield is just another like
She's-
protagonist from
Yeah.
the game.
She's from RE2.
Yeah.
the second game.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, very well liked character. Like very,
Yeah, I think she's
yeah.
cast really well.
Yeah,
Again,
she looks
they-
like
she's
her
cast
a
well.
lot, like pretty well.
Yeah, so in this one, Alice is like set on making it to Alaska because
Only
they're
halfway
supposed
through.
to be
But
yeah,
yeah.
they're supposed to be like an outpost or
Like a
something
safe
there.
haven.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
What was it called?
Arcadia.
Arcadia.
But I don't think it's called, or no, it is called. No, it's
Yeah.
not called that in this movie. It's just Alaska.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
just
They
yeah.
retcon calling
Yeah,
it
they call it-
Arcadia
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
first
that's true.
one,
That's true.
so there's like a safe haven
which
with
is going to be
no
such a
infection,
ride.
food, like water
Mm-hmm.
and medical supply.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything you could
essentially
ever need.
Everything you could need is
Yeah.
supposed to be in Alaska. So she spends the
Sanctuary.
whole movie trying to convince everyone to go to Alaska.
Yeah,
And then like halfway through, basically like the only other people that exist in this movie exist in like a little
they're in a
Convoy?
caravan.
They're
Yeah,
kind of
they're in,
that's
like,
it,
a
that's
convoy.
of like these makeshift, like repurposed vehicles. So
Yeah.
there's like
Mad
an
Max
ambulance. Yeah,
vehicles.
it's just mad. It's very Mad Max. Like there's an ambulance with like
There's a school bus.
there's a school bus,
Yeah.
which had a bunch of kids in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
they die
they
some point.
die
I don't really
somewhere,
think they
yeah.
really explain
So
when.
there's like
I
a
think they
school
get
bus
eaten-
full of children.
I imagine that they
And then
get
they're
eaten
just-
by the crows.
They just don't.
Yeah,
show
there's a
it.
scene
Yeah.
where zombie crows attack them. The
Yeah.
kids probably all
which
die
is a
then.
pretty cool scene.
Pretty
pretty
cool
cool.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they're
Anyway.
traveling in this convoy on their way to Alaska, right? They're
Yeah.
just
Well,
making
yeah.
their way-
First, they're on their way to Vegas to
'Cause-
refuel.
Yeah.
So they have to go
Which is just like it's
No.
okay.
north.
The internet says it's been 8 years since the outbreak started. The movie says like 3 or 4.
Five,
5?
isn't
Does
it?
it say 5?
I don't know.
I'll believe
No
him.
one can describe exactly how many years it's
Not
been.
even the
It
movie.
feels
but-
like it could have been 100.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when
Everything
they
is desolate.
when they make it to Vegas, it's literally like even
the desert has taken it back.
all of the skyscrapers are like half full
Buried.
of sand,
Yeah,
buried
yeah.
in sand.
yeah, it's
It's like crazy.
yeah, the
Mhm.
Mojave Desert
Yep.
is yeah.
There's a new breed of zombies that Umbrella tries to like domesticate them, but then it just doesn't work. So they
No.
can run now.
Yeah, their whole plan was to domesticate the zombies and
So
turn
they're,
them
like,
into
training
like
them.
to make them
Yeah.
slaves.
Yeah, yeah.
But that doesn't work. So instead they just unleash all of the half domesticated zombies which now can like sprint.
Yeah.
At
They're
the
kind of like
convoy.
World War Z zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just run.
They don't explain at
athletic.
all though that Umbrella like releases the zombies.
Yeah,
You're
they just-
kind of left to assume that they do.
They find like a sea can when they make it to Vegas and they open the sea can. And the only way you can tell that it's all of the zombies that they've like domesticated is that they're wearing like the suit that you see in the
Yeah.
like lab of the domesticated
Yeah.
zombies
It's
earlier.
really weird.
So it's just kind of left ambiguous, but they fight them. That
Yeah.
scene's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When that's when that guy's like that guy with the sniper and the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
The
With
Eiffel
a-
Tower.
He's, like,
sitting
halfway
on
up the
top,
Eiffel
like
Tower.
a tower, yeah. And he's just camped up there shooting
Mhm.
them, but
Mhm.
they can climb up, so they just
Yeah.
reach him, and it's actually quite sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Felt
it was
bad
sad
for-
when he died because
I felt bad for unnamed sniper cowboy
unnamed,
man.
Yeah.
yeah.
Unnamed
Whenever
sniper
there's
cowboy
an unnamed
man.
character in these movies, they die
Yeah.
because it's just like
They're
Pretty much.
unnamed.
yeah. And if when they do die, they don't spend much time on it. When it's a main
Yeah.
character who has like a name and all that,
It
and
matters.
they died, like there's
kinda.
like an emotional scene.
Unless
Yeah.
it's LJ, because LJ doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets turned into a zombie at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Anyway, the coolest part of this movie, I think, is like the whole third act.
The third act's really cool.
The third act is really cool.
I like when Alice uses her powers to like move all the fire from the flamethrower to
true.
just kill all
Right.
the zombie crows.
Right.
That
So
was
they're
cool.
all being like harassed by like a huge swarm of like crows.
Yeah, zombie
Biblical
crows.
swarm
Like
of
plague.
crows.
Plague, like it's crazy.
Mhm.
And so there's a ton of crows, and they're just like picking them off, and
Mhm.
they're trying to like make their way through the vehicles. Some of the vehicles are like broken, so they have to like all go to one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
A bunch of people die very, very horrible deaths, getting like pecked
Yeah.
by like a million crows to death. Yeah,
That was
it's
sucky.
tough.
Bad.
And then one of them has a flamethrower,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then when does
Alice just kinda shows
Yeah,
up.
Alice just shows up because she's been on her own fun Mad
She's been
Max
doing some-
cannibal
yeah.
adventures.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not a cannibal. Cannibals attacked her.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's so Mad Max. Like, she has the motorcycle, the duster coat.
Yeah, her
the,
outfit's
like,
really cool.
shotguns and the goggles. It's
Mhm.
amazing.
She's got the twin. Are they machetes? I feel like that's.
Kukris? Kukris?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think
right.
that's what
I
they're
think
called,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
They're like just really long, kind of like curved.
Yeah,
knives,
they're kind of
yeah.
boomerang shaped.
They're kind of boomerang shaped. Yeah, they're so cool. And so she shows up with that, and like, there's like, doesn't she like use the force essentially?
Yeah,
On,
yeah.
like with rocks.
yeah,
there's-
she's like sleeping one
yeah,
night
she's like sleeping one night, and then rocks start levitating. And then
around her.
her motorcycle
Starts
she, like,
levitating, too.
and then she like wakes up, or she like gets up, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
everything just falls, and her bike just explodes.
Explodes.
Yeah.
Guys. We forgot to talk. Okay, so at the beginning of the third movie,
There were 6 movies. A lot of things to
Yeah.
remember.
the
Yes.
third movie opens with the first 10 minutes of the first movie.
That was that one.
Yes,
that
we
was
didn't talk
this
about
one.
that.
That was
So
the 4th. Okay.
no, it's this one. So
this is wild.
How did Boomerang bring you to that?
I have no idea, but I don't know. So the first 10 minutes of the third movie is literally the scene of her waking up in the shower, and it goes on for like longer than it should.
Yeah.
Like
So
it goes on for
but
like
she like walks into the hospital from the mansion.
yeah. So the first like 10 minutes of that movie, we legitimately thought we had accidentally turned the first movie
we
on.
were like, Garrett, did you just play the first one again? And then and like pretty much right after we said that, like something happened.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh." But yeah, it literally, we were completely fooled.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
at the end of the scene, she dies.
yeah.
Yeah. And then,
And-
oh my, oh
and
yeah,
they
then we're-
reveal that in the lab where they're trying to domesticate the zombies, they're doing it by cloning Alice. Like they have like
Mhm.
hundreds of clones of Alice.
That they just like
run
put
through
in a
simulation.
ditch.
Yeah,
after
they
die.
put through this
Yeah.
simulation of the first movie where she just ends up dying.
every
she's all-
time.
Every
they're all in,
time.
like the red dress that she was wearing. in the
Yeah.
first one.
And then they just dump her in a
And, like,
ditch.
Yeah.
And so there's like hundreds of
Yeah.
her dead bodies.
With
just
like
laying there.
fiending zombies just
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah,
from
it's one of the-
outside the.
it's one of the
Like a
most-
fence.
Yeah, it's one of the
Mhm.
most menacing like villain locations because it's just like literally in the middle of nowhere, the desert.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's just this square of fence and hundreds of thousands of zombies
They're all
Just-
just up along the fence, like
all the way around and just like creating a huge cloud extending out of the
So
base.
weird.
It's so
Yeah.
so
it
sick.
looks so cool. It's like the zoom out shot of that is very Mad Max.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
The convoy goes to Vegas. Ton
Yeah.
of people die.
most of them die.
They mind control Alice through the satellite because
Yeah.
the reason she was like traveling by herself for so long is so that she could evade the satellite's coordinates. But then they find her and she gets like mind controlled, and then the satellite falls out of view and she just like goes to the base camp where they're mind controlling her from, which is on a ceiling in Vegas for some
Yeah.
reason. So she just like kills them all.
Yep.
But the leader Isaacs escapes and
Yeah.
goes back.
To his little
But
gate base.
yeah, which is the base from the beginning. But he got like bitten by a zombie on the way out. So he's
Uh-huh.
like injecting himself with from the super zombie though. So when he gets back, he's like trying to inject himself with the antivirus, but it's not working because the advanced zombies were made with Alice's blood,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's too strong. So he injects himself with like 7 vaccines and it makes him a disgusting Ouroboros monster, which you would understand if you played Resident Evil 5. But he's just kind of like, I don't know, he's weird. He has extendo limbs.
Demogorgon.
His like fingers can like extend and he basically just like stab your
Kills a
eyes
guy.
in your
Pokes.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
like Vecna from Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
Yes.
very Stranger Things kind
Vecna is the spiritual successor to Isaacs from
Isaacs.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, I wonder if they
Extinction.
were inspired by that actually.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not.
And then Alice, yeah, she kills all those people on that rooftop, and
Yeah.
then she travels
chilling.
to the base,
With Carlos.
and then with Carlos and
Claire.
Claire, and they show, oh, and everyone else, I guess, too, is also
No,
there. But those
that's
two are the
Kmart?
most important. Yeah, because Kmart
yeah,
and the rest of them are
Kmart.
there. Because
Yeah, so there's a
eventually,
random
What
girl
a
named
dumb
Kmart.
name.
yeah, her name is Kmart because they
Don't name
found
your-
her outside a Kmart.
Don't name your children Kmart
No.
or Vmart.
So Carlos gets like
Kmart?
the coolest death of all time in this scene because to get
Yes.
into the base, they have to get through that like cloud of zombies. So he
Mhm.
just takes the truck that they have, drives through the zombies,
And it like tips over.
And it
doesn't
tips
even make it
over,
all the
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
and then like starts to he sets like a fuse for it to blow up, and then he just like lights a cigarette and
he's
lays there.
He's like, I could use a cigarette right now because he knows he's about to die.
yeah.
And then he finds one like on the floor of the car.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh sweet. And he like lights it,
lights a
smokes it,
cigarette.
and
As it
and then
explodes
blows
from
up.
inside
Yeah.
it. We can't like go through the plot of each movie for super long, but
No.
Carlos is so cool.
Carlos
He
is
is
so
really
cool.
cool.
And he kills himself because he was infected with the virus.
Yeah.
For like clarification.
yeah.
But yeah, then
And then
is
Claire
are Claire and Kmart in this scene? Like what are
yeah,
they
Claire
doing?
and Kmart are in the scene because they get in the car with Alice and they drive straight through the explosion. The explosion opens a spot for them to get in.
Yeah.
So they drive straight through. They get inside of the fence, and then Alice or Claire, Kmart, and whoever else was still alive gets in the helicopter that they had
Oh,
traveled
right,
that
yeah.
that
Yeah.
Isaacs had traveled back in, and then they head
to Alaska.
to Alaska, and Alice heads down to kill Isaacs.
Yeah.
And before that, Alice stands over the ditch where they've been throwing all of her clones, which would be such a surreal
And just sees
experience.
like
That'd be
sees
so harrowing.
Like, just
her dead body.
Yeah, hundreds of
everywhere.
your dead bodies.
Like,
Yeah.
holy cow, that must be incredibly
Traumatizing.
traumatizing
Oh my
on
goodness.
the psych.
She must-
That would be wild.
Psychological
Yeah.
level.
Like, wow.
She must feel so like ready to kill Isaac.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. The anger one would feel.
Yeah,
It's like you're just play testing me. Like you're just constantly just running me through
That's a crazy
Yeah.
way to say that.
just play testing me. Using me for simulation, but it's like real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I don't know how I would feel about that. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not you physically,
No.
Yeah.
but it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so then she goes down into the base that's like underground,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
normal,
she
like
goes-
all.
Yeah, she goes through the
Goes to a
simulation.
lab.
She goes through the simulation
does she go
while
through the-
fighting Isaacs.
Yeah.
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 Because he's a giant bio monster now.
Yeah, so she just
Very
kind of
Resident
like
Evil.
fights him while
Yeah,
going
she-
through the simulation that all of her clones died in.
Yeah, she uses her telekinesis powers and
Like 11 from Stranger
like
Things.
11
Cool.
from
This
Stranger
whole bit
Things.
is very Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I would
very
yeah.
proto Stranger Things.
Yeah. And reminder, this is a zombie movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah.
In case you forgot.
In case you
It's
forgot.
not like a weird supernatural. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Stranger
Yeah.
Things is.
Yeah.
But yeah, she fights and eventually kills Isaacs.
How does she kill him? Does anyone remember?
No.
Nope.
It's a blur.
He doesn't matter.
That's
well,
not even.
he does matter.
He
but
does
not
matter,
really
but not
in
yet.
this movie.
And
yeah.
and the craziest thing is like the way it ends because then
yeah.
she just like
Oh wait, I remember.
Okay.
She kills him in the laser room.
oh right
How?
There's
is
a-
it the waffle stomp?
yeah it's the waffle the
Yeah.
waffle cutter
Yeah,
thing.
Oh, and it shows us this time.
Yeah.
This is the monster.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. So the laser hallway from
Yeah,
the
which
first
is
one.
from the mansion, but they put it in the simulation
Yeah.
for reasons. They use this laser room so
A
many
lot,
times,
yeah.
but it's so cool,
cool every
every
time.
time.
It's pretty
It gets
sick.
cooler, believe it or not.
Yeah, so she
Um,
fights him in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then-
he gets like waffle
yeah, waffle laser.
fry
And then
pressed.
one of
And
her
they
clones turns it off just in time
Yeah.
so Alice
Yeah.
doesn't die also.
Yeah. And they show him like
Yeah.
They fully show his like all his like cut pieces like fall because he's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
so
not
it's
like
not
a human.
yeah.
Really. Yeah.
they don't show it in
It's
the
fully
first movie, but in
metamorphosed.
this movie it's
yeah, it's
like
crazy.
it's crazy. And it doesn't look like super good. But
Yeah.
your suspension of disbelief is there, so it's like, oh
Oh.
man.
Oh my goodness.
Gets ya.
Yeah, so one of the clones just
Turns it
happens
off.
to let Alice out before the waffle maker gets it
Makes
all the
her
way
a
to Alice,
waffle.
makes her a waffle. and then the clone and Alice, the real Alice, walk over to like this glass wall where they just look into like 10 like
Oh, yeah, it
hundreds
zooms-
of
it just
thousands
zooms
of
out.
Alice
Yeah.
clones
It
in
starts-
balls.
zooms out slow enough that you're like, okay.
There's
like,
only
there are
two.
only like 2 clones of her.
Oh,
there's
there's four.
Oh, there's 8 of her.
Oh,
There's 80,000 of them. Like, it seems like it just zooms out. It's like it feels like
Yeah.
something out of like Star Wars. With, like, the
Yeah.
clones
Yeah,
from Star
yeah.
Wars.
It's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
There's so many.
Tubes or whatever.
Yeah. There's
Nuts.
so many.
Yeah, and that's how the third one ends. It
yeah,
zooms
that's how
out
the third
Zooms
one
out.
ends.
and it
Yeah.
ends. And then
That's,
you're
Also-
that's a good ending.
Yes,
Like,
that's a good ending.
Yeah.
it's a good ending.
Probably
This
is.
series does spoiler, there's a lot of clone stuff in this series. This series
Yeah.
does like the 2 characters played by the same actor or actress really well. I
It
think.
does.
Mhm.
It
Like when
does.
they're both on screen,
you could never
it's-
tell
Yeah, you
Like
could
they
never tell.
well, at least in this one, they never like cross
the middle.
Yeah.
the middle, so you can totally tell.
But it
that
looks
it's, like-
good.
But it actually, yeah, it doesn't.
It looks
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So ratings.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought of this one before. I
Oh.
rated a buzz saw, which if you don't know you know what a
Oh.
buzz saw is. It's
Yeah.
Like a circular saw?
well, okay, so like a buzz saw from like Mad Max or like Borderlands, which
Right.
is basically Mad Max. It's another video game. It's like a big stick, kind of like a staff or like a almost like a machete kind of
Yeah.
length, and it has like a saw, like a
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know what
yeah.
you're talking
It's
about.
basically just like a buzz saw on like a stick, and it's kind of like an axe, and it's very on theme for the kind of the vibe of this movie. It's sort
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
makeshift, like I said a million times, like Mad Max esque.
Mhm.
But it's so cool. It's awesome. It works well. It's pretty efficient. It's deadly, and I enjoyed it
Yeah.
a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, it was sick.
What do you rate it?
I would give. Oh, I had it in my head a second ago. I think it's a flamethrower. I think it's just
yeah,
like it was so fun
There
to
is a
watch.
flamethrower, so it
And
makes
they
sense
do a
to do.
flamethrower
Yeah.
scene as well.
Yeah.
But it was probably one of the most fun to like witness.
Yeah.
Because it was just like nonstop action.
Totally.
The plot, like we said at the beginning, the plot wasn't really there.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really that much plot, but
Yeah.
it was just like so
Just action.
sick.
hmm I don't know. Honestly, I didn't actually like this one as much.
Oh,
Okay.
No.
okay.
The Mad Max aesthetic is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
I agree that it's really cool.
Especially
It's-
for a zombie movie.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
barely a zombie movie.
That's true.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. The Crows get more
Yeah, it's a
epic
good
scenes
point.
out of
Zombie
this
crows
movie.
and
Yeah.
are, like zombie human.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
which
The
so,
zombie
like,
crows and then the Isaac's monster
Yeah,
are the majority
is-
of it.
Yeah.
the Isaac's monster is very Resident Evil. I
Yeah.
will admit. So I don't even know. I don't know what I would give it then. Like a. I don't know.
You got it.
Like a pistol, but with
Okay.
like
Okay.
some flair. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Flare.
Like an extra attachment. Or
Yeah,
something.
just put a little feather on it.
a little bit of jazz.
Yeah, a little bit of
Little pizzazz.
Yeah,
There you go.
I don't have much to say about it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
No, that's fair.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Actually, a pistol with a lot of muzzle flash.
With a
Oh.
lot of
In a good way.
Valid.
In a
Valid.
good
valid.
way.
Valid.
That's
Yeah. So that was the first 3 movies. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna end it there. We're gonna take a break.
Mhm.
I think for like a few minutes, and then we'll do the next 3. But the next episode is gonna come out like a week from this one,
Yeah.
right? So this episode, this is gonna be the end for this episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop it
1.
here. We're gonna cut it
These-
here.
Yeah. These movies were kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but 4, 5, and 6
We're
4 and 6 are another
were
level.
insane.
They were another level. Just like buckle your seatbelt.
They're oh my gosh,
They
they're
were-
so much fun.
They were wild.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
prepare yourselves for next Wednesday
Mhm.
Yeah.
because episode 2 will
yeah.
be crazy.
I will also be in that episode. I'm not
Yep.
going anywhere.
Yes.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Neither
But-
of these outfits.
No,
Gonna be
we're
exactly
the
recording it
same.
right after.
Yeah.
Actually. So
So
but you will
yeah.
see it in a week.
But yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's it for
Any-
this episode.
Yeah. Any
Thanks for-
final-
Final thoughts.
Final-
on-
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, listening.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for
Share with
having
your
me.
witnessing.
friends.
Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Share.
Share this
Send this-
episode.
Send this to Gabby Duick.
Shout out Gabby Duick.
Duick.
Gabby, if you're watching, this one's out for you. This one's
This
for you.
one's for
This-
you. So
She
was the
knows.
next one.
She'll know why.
So is the next one.
So is the next one.
I don't think does she know about this?
I don't know.
podcast?
Somebody
probably.
tell her.
Somebody tag Gabby.
Gabby
send this
Duick
to her
the
inbox.
comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
all right.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning.
All right.
Farewell, Ethan.
Bye.